The world of celebrity relationships is full of glamour, drama, and secrets, but some stories are too explosive to stay hidden forever. One of the most shocking revelations to rock the entertainment world involves none other than Kendra Robinson and Scrappy, two names that have dominated headlines for years. Rumors have swirled, whispers exchanged behind closed doors, and fans speculated endlessly. But the truth has always remained elusive. Until now, Young-jak, a figure who has witnessed the highs and lows of fame firsthand, steps into the spotlight with revelations that promise to change everything. Armed with hidden proof, he exposes the clandestine affair that had been quietly unfolding, a story filled with betrayal, secrecy, and undeniable evidence that no one could ignore. What starts as casual rumors among insiders suddenly escalates into a public scandal, threatening to upend friendships, careers, and reputations alike. This is more than just a story of deception. It's a lesson in trust, loyalty, and the consequences of choices made under the radar. As fans brace themselves for the fallout, emotions run high and questions arise. How long did it last? Who knew? And what does this mean for the people involved? Prepare yourself for an inside look at a secret that has finally been brought to light. A shocking exposure that promises to leave the world stunned, and everyone questioning what they thought they knew. The entertainment world is no stranger to drama, but every so often, a story emerges that threatens to shatter everything fans thought they knew. This time, the shockwave comes from an unexpected revelation. Kendra Robinson and Scrappy, two names long associated with fame and scandal, are at the center of a secret affair that has finally been exposed. What had once been whispered rumors in exclusive circles and online gossip forums has now been brought into the open, leaving friends, fans, and the public reeling. And at the heart of this explosive disclosure is none other than Young-jak, who has stepped forward with proof that leaves little room for doubt. Young-jak has always been known for his candidness and willingness to speak his truth, especially when it comes to the murky intersections of celebrity and personal life. Over the years, he's witnessed the rise and fall of countless relationships, and he knows better than anyone the high stakes of keeping secrets in the public eye. This time, the stakes are higher than ever. The proof he has doesn't just confirm rumors, it paints a picture of a relationship that unfolded behind closed doors, carefully hidden from the prying eyes of fans and media alike. Every message, every meeting, every carefully orchestrated encounter now forms a puzzle that Young-jak is piecing together for the world to see. The fallout from this revelation is immediate. Friends of Kendra and Scrappy are stunned, scrambling to understand how this went unnoticed for so long. The public, who had followed both of their careers with unwavering interest, reacts with disbelief, anger, and curiosity. Social media explodes as fans dissect every piece of evidence, share their opinions, and speculate on the consequences. The question on everyone's mind is simple yet profound. How did this secret survive for so long, and what does it mean for the people involved? Kendra, who has spent years building her public persona on authenticity and relatability, now faces the harsh glare of scrutiny. Every word, every past interview, every social media post is re-examined for clues. The image she cultivated, the life she presented to fans, suddenly feels fractured. And for Scrappy, whose career has been intertwined with drama and public perception, this revelation threatens to tip the scales, forcing him to confront decisions he may have hoped would remain hidden. But beyond the immediate shock, the story also highlights the complexity of human relationships, especially in the world of fame. Secrets have a way of building pressure over time, and even the most careful planning cannot always prevent exposure. Young-jak's decision to step forward, armed with evidence, underscores a truth that resonates far beyond celebrity culture. When trust is broken and secrecy is involved, the consequences are inevitable. As the first layer of this story unfolds, it becomes clear that this is not just a tale of betrayal. It is a narrative about the fragile boundaries between public life and private choices. Young-jak, by revealing the proof, forces both Kendra and Scrappy to face the reality of their actions, and in doing so, he sets the stage for a dramatic reckoning that will leave no aspect of their lives untouched. The proof itself is meticulous, compiled carefully, and presented in a way that is impossible to dismiss. Each piece tells a story, connecting moments that fans could never have imagined were linked. The intrigue doesn't stop with the exposure of the affair. Questions about timing, motive, and consequence loom large. How long had this relationship been going on in secret? What prompted Young-jak to reveal it now? And most importantly, how will those closest to Kendra and Scrappy react? when confronted with the undeniable truth? These questions dominate the conversation as fans and insiders alike try to piece together the full narrative. This is a story about power, influence, and vulnerability. Kendra and Scrappy, despite their fame and success, are not immune to the human challenges of desire, secrecy, and the repercussions of hidden actions. Youngjak's role as both witness and exposer adds another layer of complexity. He is not merely a messenger. He is a participant in the unfolding drama, providing context and credibility that transforms rumor into confirmed reality. The weight of this responsibility is enormous, as the public looks to him for clarity and truth in a situation that has long been shrouded in speculation. Even as the shock of the revelation sinks in, it is impossible to ignore the ripple effects. Professional relationships are tested, friendships are strained, and public perception begins to shift in real time. Every action taken by Kendra and Scrappy now carries heightened significance, as fans and the media scrutinize every move for signs of remorse, justification, or further deception. The dynamics of their careers and personal lives are in flux, illustrating just how far-reaching the consequences of hidden actions can be. Yet amidst the scandal, there is also an undeniable human element. This story is not just about betrayal, it is about choices, the pressure of secrecy, and the inevitability of truth emerging. Youngjak's revelation reminds us that in a world where lives are lived under public scrutiny, private actions can never remain completely hidden. The tension between what is seen and what is concealed drives the narrative forward, keeping everyone involved and everyone watching on edge. The first part of this saga closes with a sense of anticipation and unease. Youngjak has revealed the proof, and the world now knows what had previously been whispered in shadows. Kendra and Scrappy are left to navigate the immediate fallout, grappling with the consequences of decisions that can no longer be ignored. Friends, fans, and the media await the next chapter, knowing that the story is far from over. As this scandal continues to unfold, it becomes clear that the exposure of this affair will have long-lasting implications, both personally and professionally, for everyone involved. It's a reminder that in the world of fame, secrets are fragile, trust is precious, and the truth has a way of emerging when least expected. The next part of this story will delve even deeper, exploring the confrontation, the fallout, and the decisions that Kendra, Scrappy, and Youngjak must face as the full scope of this scandal comes to light. The fallout from Youngjak's revelation didn't take long to hit. Once the proof was exposed, the entertainment world erupted in speculation and debate. Social media platforms became battlegrounds, with fans dissecting every screenshot, message, and interaction that Youngjak had brought to light. The intensity of the reaction was immediate. Some were outraged, feeling betrayed on behalf of Kendra's long-term relationships, while others were simply stunned that such a secret could exist undetected for so long. The public's fascination wasn't just about the affair itself, but about the intricate web of secrecy that allowed it to remain hidden until now. For Kendra, the exposure was nothing short of a personal earthquake. She had always been candid about parts of her life, presenting a carefully curated image of authenticity to her audience. But now that image was under siege. Every past interview, every social media post, every moment that seemed innocent was reevaluated for hidden clues. The realization that her private actions were now public forced her to confront the emotional and reputational consequences all at once. Anxiety, regret, and the pressure of public judgment collided, leaving her scrambling for answers and clarity. It was one thing to handle rumors. It was another entirely to face verified proof laid bare before the world. Scrappy, too, found himself navigating uncharted territory. Known for his own turbulent past and public drama, he now faced a scandal that threatened to redefine public perception. The exposure not only affected personal relationships but also professional dynamics, as collaborators, friends, and industry figures watched closely to see how he would respond. The stakes were higher than ever because in the age of social media, perception often carries as much weight as reality. Every response, every silence, every attempt at damage control became part of the narrative, scrutinized and amplified for all to see. Youngjak's role in this saga was pivotal. By presenting concrete evidence, he shifted the story from rumor to undeniable reality. He became both a witness and a force driving accountability. In doing so, he reminded everyone involved and the public that secrets, no matter how carefully guarded, are rarely permanent. The weight of truth, when revealed, has a way of forcing confrontation, reevaluation, and ultimately consequences. His revelation also underscored a broader lesson about fame and trust. Even those who seem untouchable are not immune to exposure, and decisions made in private can have profound public consequences. As the news spread, the emotional toll on Kendra and Scrappy became increasingly apparent. The pressure of navigating public opinion while processing personal accountability created an environment of heightened stress and introspection. For Kendra, it was a period of intense reflection, forcing her to confront not only the actions themselves, but also the motivations and circumstances that led to them. She had to assess how much of her public image aligned with her private choices and whether her personal and professional life could withstand the scrutiny. The process was painful, but essential for moving forward authentically. Scrappy, similarly, faced the challenge of balancing public perception with personal reflection. While some of the public focused on sensationalism, he had to navigate the emotional complexity of relationships, trust, and reputation. The exposure prompted conversations, confrontations, and difficult decisions that could not be ignored. It was a turning point, a moment where denial or evasion was no longer a viable option. The evidence presented by Young Jock demanded accountability, forcing all involved to reassess their next steps carefully. The affair itself, once hidden, began to be analyzed in granular detail. Fans and insiders tried to piece together timelines, understand motives, and speculate on the impact. Yet beyond the gossip and speculation, the story revealed a deeper truth about human behavior and relationships in high-pressure environments. The choices made in secrecy often carry more weight than those made publicly, because they test boundaries, trust, and self-awareness. Young Jock's disclosure exposed not only the actions, but also the underlying patterns of decision-making that allowed the affair to persist undetected. Confrontations inevitably followed. Kendra and Scrappy were forced to face each other and the consequences of their actions head-on. These encounters were tense, emotional, and unfiltered, revealing layers of guilt, justification, and reflection. Friends and family, caught in the crossfire, tried to mediate, offering support while also questioning how such a secret could have been maintained for so long. The emotional intensity of these moments was palpable, demonstrating that the impact of secrets extends far beyond the initial exposure. It affects relationships, trust, and the very foundation of personal connections. In the professional realm, the scandal also carried repercussions. Collaborators, sponsors, and public partners began reevaluating associations, wary of being caught in the crossfire of controversy. Careers that had once seemed stable now faced uncertainty, as public perception began to influence opportunities and decisions. The entertainment world, while often forgiving, also thrives on reputation and trust. The exposure of the affair forced all parties to navigate a delicate balance between public accountability and private strategy, underscoring the far-reaching consequences of hidden actions in the age of instant information. Throughout the ordeal, one thing became abundantly clear: the truth has a way of emerging, no matter how carefully it is concealed. Young Jock's revelation acted as the catalyst, setting in motion a chain of events that could not be reversed. The exposure demanded honesty, confrontation, and reflection. It also reminded the public that even in lives that appear glamorous and controlled, vulnerability, error, and consequence are inevitable. The story of Kendra and Scrappy's affair, once hidden, became a powerful example of the fragility of secrecy and the weight of accountability. As Part 2 concludes, the narrative shifts from exposure to confrontation. The world now knows the truth, and Kendra and Scrappy must navigate the aftermath, emotionally, personally, and professionally. Young Jock's role has been established as both exposer and witness, guiding the story from speculation to undeniable reality. What follows is a critical period of reflection, decision-making, and the search for resolution. The next chapter will explore how Kendra and Scrappy respond to the fallout, the impact on their relationships, and the steps they take toward accountability and potential reconciliation. The stage is set for the final act, a moment where revelations, confrontations, and consequences collide. Every action, every choice, and every response will shape not only public perception, but also the trajectory of their lives. The story is far from over, and the world is watching closely to see what comes next. The next part will reveal the full spectrum of reactions, the personal reckonings, and the potential paths forward for Kendra, Scrappy, and everyone touched by this explosive revelation. The exposure of Kendra and Scrappy's secret affair sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, but the true test was how they would respond. The initial disbelief and outrage quickly gave way to confrontation, as both were forced to face the undeniable truth laid bare by Young Jok. Private conversations, long avoided, now demanded honesty. The air was tense, emotions raw, and every word carried weight. Kendra had to reconcile her public persona with private actions, while Scrappy faced the reality that his choices had far-reaching consequences, impacting relationships and reputations alike. Friends and close associates, previously unaware of the extent of the affair, stepped in to mediate. Yet even their presence could not ease the tension. Emotions ran high, anger, disappointment, regret, and defensiveness collided in a volatile mix. It became clear that while the proof had revealed the truth, navigating the aftermath required more than explanation. It required introspection and accountability. The hidden layers of secrecy unraveled, forcing both Kendra and Scrappy to confront patterns of behavior and decisions that had led them here. For Kendra, the public reaction was as intense as the private reckoning. Fans, accustomed to her charm and openness, struggled to reconcile the image they had admired with the reality now exposed. Social media was flooded with reactions, some supportive, others critical, and the relentless scrutiny made the process of reflection even more challenging. She realized that true accountability would not come from words alone. It would come from actions, from demonstrating a willingness to learn and grow from past mistakes. Scrappy likewise faced both public and personal consequences. Professional relationships were strained as collaborators reconsidered their trust and future involvement. Even close friends and family expressed disappointment, emphasizing the importance of transparency and honesty. Yet within the chaos, there emerged an opportunity for growth. By acknowledging mistakes and taking steps to address them, Scrappy began to understand that reinvention was not merely about repairing reputation, it was about personal integrity and ensuring that future choices aligned with values rather than secrecy. Young Jok's involvement remained central to the narrative. By revealing the evidence, he had shifted the story from rumor to undeniable fact, creating a framework in which accountability could occur. His role highlighted the importance of confronting truth, even when it is uncomfortable. The public watched closely, recognizing that the exposure was not just sensational, it was a lesson in the inevitability of consequences when trust is broken. Young Jok's actions underscored the reality that secrets, no matter how carefully maintained, have a way of surfacing, forcing reflection and change. The next stage of the story focused on attempts at reconciliation and rebuilding trust. Kendra and Scrappy engaged in difficult, honest conversations, navigating hurt feelings and the complexities of accountability. Each acknowledged the choices that led to the exposure and the impact on those around them. Forgiveness, where possible, became a central theme, understanding that moving forward required not just admitting fault, but actively working to rebuild damaged relationships and regain self-respect. Public perception, too, remained a critical factor. Both Kendra and Scrappy had to contend with how their actions were interpreted by millions. Transparency became essential, as half-truths or evasions could easily exacerbate the situation. Carefully considered statements, authentic reflection, and consistent behavior were necessary to demonstrate growth. The journey of reinvention, both personal and professional, required patience, humility, and a willingness to be held accountable in a public arena that often lacks empathy. This scandal also illuminated the fragile nature of celebrity trust and the high stakes of private actions. Kendra and Scrappy's experiences illustrate a broader truth. When lives are lived in the public eye, choices carry amplified consequences. The exposure of the affair acted as both a warning and a guidepost, emphasizing that integrity and honesty, even in private matters, are essential for long-term stability and respect. The lessons extend beyond the realm of celebrity, reminding everyone that secrecy can complicate relationships and that accountability is never optional when trust is broken. By the end of the confrontation, both Kendra and Scrappy had begun the painstaking process of rebuilding, not just relationships, but personal integrity. They recognized the need for clear boundaries, better communication, and a commitment to transparency moving forward. The affair, once hidden, had revealed vulnerabilities, but it also created an opportunity to grow, learn, and redefine their approach to relationships and public life. Young Jok's exposure, while dramatic, became the catalyst for this necessary transformation. As the dust began to settle, both faced the challenge of integrating these lessons into their lives. Kendra focused on establishing a life that prioritized authenticity, respect, and emotional well-being. Scrappy committed to repairing trust and aligning future actions with principles rather than impulse. The journey was neither simple nor immediate, but it demonstrated that even the most shocking revelations can lead to meaningful change if approached with honesty and reflection. Fans continued to watch, learning alongside them, witnessing not just the fallout, but the process of reckoning and reinvention. The public drama, while sensational, highlighted a universal truth. Mistakes and secrets are part of life, but the way individuals respond to exposure defines their character and future trajectory. Kendra and Scrappy's journey serves as a case study in accountability, the complexities of human relationships, and the transformative power of facing the consequences of one's actions. In the end, the story is not solely about scandal, it is about growth. The exposure of the affair forced all involved to confront reality, navigate emotional turmoil, and make deliberate choices for the future. Yoongjok's proof brought the truth to light, but it also created a pathway for reflection, accountability, and reinvention. What could have been a story of destruction instead became a story of resilience, lessons learned, and the potential for redemption. As this chapter closes, it's clear that the journey is ongoing. Kendra and Scrappy must continue to navigate public perception, personal accountability, and emotional healing. Yoongjok's role as exposer has cemented his place in this narrative, not as an antagonist, but as the catalyst for truth and clarity. The impact of these revelations will resonate for years, serving as both cautionary tale and guide for anyone navigating secrets, trust, and the high stakes of relationships under the spotlight. The story of exposure, confrontation, and accountability reminds us all of the importance of transparency, honesty, and the courage to face difficult truths. Even in the world of fame and public scrutiny, the principles of integrity and reflection remain paramount. Kendra and Scrappy's journey from hidden actions to revealed truth illustrates the power of accountability and the potential for growth, even when circumstances are dramatic and public. Now, the stage is set for the aftermath, rebuilding trust, redefining relationships, and embracing the lessons uncovered through this scandal. Every choice moving forward will carry the weight of experience, and the process of reinvention, though challenging, is underway. The story has reached a turning point, but the journey of learning, healing, and personal growth continues, offering insights that extend far beyond the headlines and into the very core of human experience. Kendra and Scrappy's scandalous affair, once hidden in secrecy, has become a public lesson in truth, accountability, and the complex dynamics of relationships under the glare of fame. And through it all, the importance of facing reality, learning from mistakes, and choosing integrity over concealment remains the ultimate takeaway. The shocking revelation of Kendra and Scrappy's secret affair has left fans stunned, relationships strained, and emotions running high. What was once hidden behind closed doors has now been exposed, forcing everyone involved to confront the consequences of their actions. But the story doesn't end with the revelation. This is only the beginning of a turbulent journey filled with accountability, reflection, and emotional reckoning. As Kendra and Scrappy navigate the fallout, they must face difficult questions. Can trust be rebuilt? How will their personal and professional relationships recover? And what lessons will they carry forward to prevent history from repeating itself? Every move now is under scrutiny, every conversation dissected, and every decision carries far-reaching consequences. The public, friends, and family are watching closely, eager to see how this dramatic chapter unfolds. It's a story of secrecy exposed, mistakes confronted, and the challenging process of reinvention. The fallout is as intense as the revelation itself, highlighting the human cost of hidden actions and the power of truth to change everything. Stay tuned to follow every twist and turn of this explosive saga. Witness the confrontations, the apologies, the attempts at rebuilding trust, and the journey toward personal growth. The drama, the lessons, and the consequences are far from over. Watch closely as Kendra, Scrappy, and everyone involved navigate the aftermath, redefine their paths, and reveal what it truly takes to move forward when secrets are finally brought into the light.